So the plan is for today, we're going to review for exam 3. And then Thursday is going to be exam 3. And next week, so today, review for exam 3. Thursday, exam 3. And next Tuesday, optional meeting for review for final. Because some of the students may want an A or a passing grade and they need it. And then Thursday, I want everybody to come class meeting. So you can tell me you're taking final or not. We can review a little bit, like we are supposed to meet. So like I have to get everybody together next Thursday. And the actual final is on Thursday, right? Can somebody look at the syllabus, the last page? I think it's on a Thursday and 10:30 or something.
10:30 to 12:30.
And this is April what?
29.
20 what?
29.
29, okay. So everybody's clear?
Will it be in person?
Yeah. Yeah, last semester is, I cannot say it, it's on video. So it would be in person, yeah. And normally students actually score better in person, seems to be, because the online just have so many different steps, and sometimes they make a mistake and the file didn't upload, and then yeah. So I think a lot of you probably don't need it. So if you are making A, B, or C, you have the option of not taking it. So if you're already making an A, I would suggest not take it because you can bring it down to a B too. So that has happened before. Because final exam is 25% and it would be divided into 3 parts. It would be have the exam 1 part, exam 2 part, and exam 3 part. So if you score the lowest here, then you want to study that part the hardest. Because after we grade your whole exam, say this is 85, then that's your 25% of the final exam grade. And then if this is your lowest exam and you make like a 69 or something, then if you did really, really well, say you make an 89, then it will replace with the 89, not this grade, okay? So whichever you score the lowest, you want to study that part the hardest. Does it make sense? Okay. All right. So that's for the exam part. We have a request about LCM. So let's look at LCM. LCM is the lowest common multiple, right? Can I go ahead and do GCM and LCM? So it will be in that order. And then we can also do the Venn diagram for that also. Because we didn't do a lot of examples, so we probably want to do some more. And basing on your homework, a lot of you didn't do very well on the multiplication and division of decimal number. So we probably need to review that also. Plus, last time we just talked about the divisibility rule, like and those terms, so you may want to review that also. Okay, so GCF and LCM. So if I ask you to find GCF for 2030, so there are several different ways to find GCF, including listing all the factors, and also prime factorization. So I know some of you already know how to do this, but remember this is the teaching method class, so like you do have to follow the step that we show you in class. So if you are not familiar with them yet, you probably want to review a little bit more. Okay, so for these two, for 20, what can we use to multiply to get 20? We have 1 times 20, what else? 2 times 10. 4 times 5, and then we have 5 times 4, so when it's repeating, we know we're done, right? How about 30? 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10, 5 times 6, 6 times 5, right? So it's repeating, so we can stop, right? So we will list them out for 20 and 30. So 20, they don't equal to those numbers, so I'm just going to list them out. 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 20. So I put them in order so I don't miss any of them, like 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 20. So 30, we have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 15, 30, right? So what is the greatest common factor? 10. So we look at, they have 2 the same, 5 the same, but 10 is the biggest one they have in common, right? So we're going to say GCF of those two numbers, 20, 30, will equal to 10. Is that okay? So for the other one, prime factorization, then we will do the what?
The factor tree.
Okay, so we have what multiplied to get 20? 2 and 10.
5 and 2.
2 and 5. That's it, right? How about 30? 2 and 15. 3 times 5. So 2, 2, 5, 2, 3, 5. So this one, they actually will equal to 20 when you multiply all the prime factor together. And then 30 would be 2, 3, and 5, right? So using prime factorization, how do we get the GCF? Multiply what?
The common factor.
The common factor, which they have 1, 2 matching, right? And 1, 5 matching. So it's going to be the product of common prime factors. So 2 times 5 equal to 10. Which they should be the same, right? Some of you have homework they don't match. That's definitely wrong, one of them at least. Okay, so that's GCF. Any question about GCF? We're going to move on to LCM. So let's do LCM, which by the way, I'm just using one of the old exams from last semester, meaning last spring. LCM, we're going to find LCM of 30 and 42. So for LCM, we also introduced it a few different ways to find them, including one is listing the multiple. I cannot list all of them because it has infinitely many of them. And then the second one, we're going to again use the prime factorization. So for 30, what are some of the numbers that we will have? 30 times 1 is? 30. 60. 90. 120. 150. 180. Should I stop anywhere? I should stop, okay. How about 42? We have 42, 84, that's all. Combine this, you have a 6, you have what? 126, and then 126 add that. 168 add that. 210. Okay, I don't have anything matching, so which one is the lowest common multiple? the next one, which is 210, right? So this is the first one they have in common. So the LCM of 30, 42 is 210. Is that okay? This is the lowest they have in common as multiples. Question on that one? Okay. The other one is doing prime factorization, which we again need to do the tree. 30 has what? Huh?
15 and 2.
Oh, okay. 2 and 15. What else? 3 and 5. And 42? 2 and 21, okay.
7 and 2.
Got it. All right, so I'm going to list them out as prime factorization, which 30 has 2 times 3 times 5. I usually put them in order, like smallest number to the biggest number. And then 42 has 2 times 3 times 7. So using that, how do I get the LCM?
You multiply the prime factorization together, excluding terms that match.
Okay, so we have the 2 matching, right?
Yes.
And the 3 matching. So what that means is we are going to get the product of all the prime factors, but the one repeating, we only count them one time. Okay, so products of all prime factors only count once if repeating. So if you understand the Venn diagram 1, the repeating one would be on the overlapping part. So that's why they only count one time, okay? So we have 2, we have the 3, right? So those 2 are repeating. But then I have my 5 here. And then I have my 7 here, right? So those are all together. Multiply them together. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 7 is 21. So it's 210, right? So again, they should match, right? So if they don't match, then that's a problem, okay? Question for this. Okay, so let's do one with the Venn diagram. So use the Venn diagram. To find the GCF and LCM of 16 and 48. So how many Venn diagrams do I need? Just one, okay? Don't draw me 2, they're the same. Okay, let me move this a little bit. I don't know why they keep moving it so close. All right, so what is the first step if I need to do something like this?
I want to say what's the factors.
What kind of factors? Any
Prime factors?
prime factors. So I need the prime factorization, so I'm going to use the factor tree. So we can get the prime factorization, right? So 16 and 48. 16 can be broken down as what?
8 and 2.
Okay. And then,
2 and 4.
got it.
And then 2 and 2.
Alright, so usually I circle them just like in case sometimes people pick up weird stuff like 4, 8. They are not prime factors. 48 can be broken down as,
6 and 8.
okay, got it. What else?
And the 6 can be 3 and 2.
Uh-huh.
4 and 2.
Uh-huh.
And then 2 and 2.
Got it. So again, I'm going to circle my prime factors so I don't miss any of them. And I'm going to write them next to here so I can list the prime factorization, which we have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and then 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times the 3, right? So again, I normally try to put them in order, smallest number to the biggest number. All right, now what? Okay, what do they have in common? 2. 2. Wow. I think I make that on purpose. Okay, after I figure that out, then what? Yes. You answer it like a formal question. Okay, so the next one we're going to draw the Venn diagrams. So how do I build a Venn diagram? First I need a rectangular box to represent the universal set. And then 2 circles, do they overlap? Yes. One with 16, one with 48. And what is the title of this? Prime factors of those 2 numbers, 16 and 48. All right, so they have so many things in common. Where do those go? In the middle, so try to stack them vertically so they don't look like 2,222. And then if you multiply all of them together in the 16 box, you get 16, right? How about 48 this side? What do I put here? That leftover number here, 3. And then if you multiply all of these prime factor together in the 48 circle, it should equal to 48, right? So actually, I can put that 16 in here, but just leave it like that, that's fine. Okay, so using that, how am I going to find the GCF and LCM? Say it again. Okay. How? What is the GCF? Just 2? All the overlapping. So it's going to be the product of the overlapping parts, which is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, right? Which equal to?
16.
So 16 is actually the GCF here. All right, how about the LCM? So let's see.
Everything multiplied together and everything.
So it's going to be products of everything in the 2 circle. So we got 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times the 3, so it's equal to, yeah, that is a special one. So actually one of the numbers is GCF, one of the numbers is LCM for this particular question. So normally it doesn't happen like that, but this is special, I guess. Okay, so let's see. Everybody know the definition of prime number? Yes.
When on the homework it says like find it using the formula.
So yeah.
What is that?
The formulas say the LCM of 2 number will equal to the product of 2 number divided by GCF of the 2 number. So for this particular one, we have LCM is 48. The 2 number is 16 times 48, right? And then the GCF is what? 16. So if I cancel that part, we get 48 equal to 48. So that check. That's all. Okay, so let's see. Everybody turned in all your homework, right? Last call. Any more homework? Nobody turning in a second homework of this decimal with the gold color? I was missing a bunch of them, so let me see. Okay, so the homework for the LCM and GCF. Yeah. So this is not quite the same as what we have there. So if you're looking at here, it's kind of light. The GCF of these two numbers would be what?
The GCF.
4, because it's 2 times 2, right? And then the LCM would be 7 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, right? So all the number in the two circle you multiply together. Is that okay? All right, so that's LCM and GCF. We may have some questions that ask you to do this, like find the next few numbers and decide which arithmetic or geometric and the rule. Can you do those? So what makes something a arithmetic sequence? If they are adding the same number again and again, right? What makes something a geometric sequence? You multiply the same number again and again, right? So make sure you spell them correctly also. But those words are here, right? So you're just copying it. So if you misspell them, I have to take off points. So look at the question, okay? So some of the one may ask you to draw the next two pictures like that. Are you okay with those? Okay. A lot of you have problem with this one. So this is like 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 4 by 4, something like that, right? And then you have the blank one, you have the fill color one, you have the blank one again. So the next one should be fill color here, right? And then the next one should be blank here, right? So I don't know why, but a lot of you missed this one. Any question on those? So you will see some of those on the test. Okay, so next, let me see. Multiplication and division. A lot of you missed that. Let's try one of each. So on the multiplication and division, we will ask you how in words, and then how in steps. How in words, how in steps, and then why in words and why in steps. Sorry. So make sure you review the wording of them, because I will check it. So for multiplication, let's try one that is 4.86 times 5.7. So can we verbally tell me what is the how in words? Okay, let's do the step first, if that helps you. Do I need to line up the decimal point? No. Okay, so 4.86 times 5.7. So you ignore the decimal, but you leave them there, okay? Some of you get rid of the decimal too, so that was weird. Okay, so here, and then what? But I think some of the students have problem multiplying normally, so let's go through this together. What do we multiply?
7 and 6.
6 times 7 is? 42. And then
56.
7 times 8 is 56, plus the 4 is 60. And then 7 times 4 is 28, plus the 6 is 34. Okay, so we finished with the 7. Now we move on to 5. So we put a 0 here to hold a place, right? Because 5 times something will go here. All right? So 5 times 6 is 30. And then 5 times 8 is 40 plus 3 is 43. And then 5 times 4 is 20 plus 4 is 24. Are we okay? And then sorry, my carrying is really big. Add them together. So we got 2, 0, 7, 7, 2. Are we done? No. We have 2 decimal places here. We have 1 here, right? So together we have 3. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3 here, right? So the decimal is here. So my answer is 27.702. And we can think about 4 times 5 is 20, right? So it should be 20 something. So if it's like 2 point something or 200 something, you hopefully catch that. So what are the wording? How do we multiply? Ignore the decimal. And multiply as if they were whole number. And then what?
Once you finish multiplying, you count up how many decimals.
Count numbers of decimal places from your questions.
And replace it in the
And place decimal point to the answer. Are we okay? Questions? So this is how. What do we do with the y part? So this is in word, this is in step, right? And both of this is how. How about the y part?
For y steps, you break them into fractions.
Okay. So first, change them to fractions. So we started with 4.86 times 5.7. What is the first fractions? 4 and 86 hundredths times 5 and 7 tenths. What is the next step?
Convert to improper fractions.
Change to improper fractions. Okay, so multiply and add, right? What do we get?
486 over 100.
Times.
57 over 10.
Okay, and then what?
Then you find the lowest common denominator.
Do we need that? Okay, so what do we do?
You multiply top and bottom.
Top times top, bottom times bottom. So 486 times 57, 100 times 10 would be 1,000 at the bottom, right? Somebody use the calculator to do the top part. Two, 7, 7, 02, is that what it is? Okay, so, and then what?
Then you get the denominator to 1.
Get your denominator to 1. So move 3 places at the bottom, move 3 places at the top, right? So you will have 27.702 over 1, so it's just 27.702, right? Again, the answer should match. If they don't match, something is not right. Questions? Alright, so this is the how and why in words. For multiplication, let's try one division. So if we are doing 3.852 divided by 0.9, so how? That seems to be a major issue with people on the homework. How do we do that?
We set it up in the house.
Who go in the house?
3.852 is going in the house and 0.9 is going outside.
Okay, and then what?
And then you have to get the outside to a whole number by moving the decimal.
The outside need to be whole number, so the divisor need to be whole number. How about a dividend? Does dividend need to be whole number? No. Okay, so this is going to be 38.52 divided by 9, and that seems to be a problem after that. The decimal point is here, right? And then what?
And then you move it up.
Move it on the top here. And then how do you divide? 9 times 3 is? 9 times 3 is what? So is it 9 times 3? 9 times 4 is?
36.
36. Where do I put 3? I mean 4, sorry.
On top
On top of
of the 8.
the 8 here, okay? Because 9 times 4 is 36, so it has to line up where you put it. You're subtracting that, you get 2, bring down to 5, right? And then 9 times 2 is 18. You subtract that, what do you get? 7, and then you bring down the 2, right? 9 times
8.
8 is 72, so you're done, right? So your answer is 4.28. So we okay with that? Questions? So what are the steps? The step for dividing is what? You are supposed to move the decimal for both
Move the decimal below to make the divisor.
and dividends. So which one need to be whole number?
Divisor.
Divisor need to be whole number, and then you divide, right? And then you carry up the decimal to the answer, basically. Are we okay with that? So let me put that down here. I don't know if you can see it. She was so light. Because I want you to hand that some homework to you quickly. So after I hand it back to you, can you quickly check and make sure everything is correct? So next we want you to think about the y part. Everybody got their homework back? Okay, the y part is very similar to what we did for the multiplication, right? We convert them to fractions, we convert them to improper fractions, but this time we probably want to get the same denominator so they can divide straight across and the bottom will become 1, right? Are we okay with the dividing y part in words? Okay, let's do this in y in steps. So we started with 3.852 divided by 0.9. So what fraction do we get? The first one is 3 and 1,000. 3 places, 3 zeros, right? The next one would be 9 over 10. 1 decimal place, 1 0, right? Some of you got those mixed up. Okay, so next is improper fractions. So we need to change them to improper fractions. The first one would be what? $3,852 divided by 1,000 and then divide 910, right? So you can get them to have the same denominator. That seems to be more simple. So if I want to get them to the same denominator, what is the LCD? The LCD is 1,000. So the second fraction need to multiply by 100. So divide straight across 3,852 divided by 900. This is 1,000 divided by 1,000. I'm pretty sure the bottom part would be 1, right? The top part would be what? Supposed to be 4.28 if you put it in the calculator. So the final answer is 4.28. So we did how and why in words and in steps. Question for those. Okay, some of the questions would be similar to, so earlier we talked about, somebody's still writing. And like I sent you all the lessons the last 2 weeks, right? So if you miss any of them, make sure you take the notes and study, okay? So for sure, we have the drawing picture one, the geometric and arithmetic one, and we also will have some like this, ask you to shade the area. So the one more complicated, you are going to need to show me steps, right? So let's just do one of these here to make sure everybody's okay. So one of the homework questions asks you to shade the area for the answer. And if you have A union not B, what would be my step for this? Just A.
Like just like the A shape.
And then the second one would be? Not B. Okay, so this is A union, not B. What am I shading? On the first one, just the A circle, right? And the second one would be? Everything but B. So it's outside of B, right? That would be considered as not B. So my answer is combining the two, right? So what does union mean? What does union mean? Or. What does or mean? You want anything here and also everything here, right? So it's like either or, huh?
Is it the overlapping?
No. Which one is the overlapping one? The upside down one. Okay, so the intersect one. So this is union, mean combining them. So I need both like this green color part and also combine with the red color part, right? So everything shaded for this would be part of my answer, correct? So if I change this question, so this one would be A union, not B, right? So if I ask you a different question, how about A intersect, not B? Then you take the overlapping part. Which part are they overlapping?
Just the A without, no. Yeah, just the A without the
Yeah, so if you look at these two, where did they overlap is the part that is in the A circle, but not the overlap B part, right? Like here, can we see that? So you will have questions like that. And let's see, what else? Are we okay with the scientific notation stuff? Converting to scientific notation and convert it back. Any question for that? Anybody need to see those? The other thing, the one that asks you to write that in words and also the set stuff. Okay, so let's see. If A equal to male student, B equal to students have kids, and C equal to students live in Wagwal, what would be A union not C? What will be not A intersect B? Just write them in words as clear, straightforward as possible. A not C. What is that? I want
You want the male student.
male student. What is the U means? Or is the keyword, right? Or
Students who have kids.
is that correct? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, it's C. Second of all, it's not. Okay. So this means not, right? She's probably looking at the bottom one. So it's male student or students do not live in Wagwal. Is it okay? So it's pretty straightforward. Just pick the right one and use those keywords basically. The and, or, and not. Okay? How about the next one? Not A mean, yeah, it's not male, so it's going to be female students. And then what? Huh? This mean and, right? Okay. This is not. And student have kids. So like you say, basically female and the student need to have kids, right? So either way. Are we okay? So just make sure you know the keywords. Again, the first one is or, this one is and the last one is not. So use the keyword, pick the right set, and you should be okay. Question for that. Okay, last time we talked about some of the number and stuff. So just pick a few that we use the most often, and I want you to list a few of them. If I want to list the natural number, the whole numbers, and the integer, if I want to list them as a set, what should I write in there? Natural numbers should start with 1, 2, 3, 4, and then comma, dot, 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 right? How about whole number? Whole number, you need to add in a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, dot, 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 right? And then how about integers?
Negative.
You need negative and positive, right? Do I need 0?
Yes.
Yes. And both sides should have comma and dot dot dot, right? Are we okay with these three? These three are the most popular one that I really want you to know. How about rational number? Anybody remember rational number?
It's a number that has a ratio.
Yeah, can be written as fractions. How about irrational?
No,
Not yet. So irrational cannot be written as a fraction, but it will be some kind of decimal number that is not terminating, like pi, square root of 3, natural number. How about complex number?
I mean, imaginary.
It has the imaginary in there. So like just be familiar with those a little bit. And some of the question may ask you about the divisibility rule. Oops. Maybe okay. Maybe. Maybe let's see. Oh. Okay. It's still going. All right. So the other one is the divisibility rule. Okay, the 2 is going to be all what kind of numbers? Divisible by 2, it is going to be?
Anything ending in an even number.
It's an even number. And then ending at 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, bigger than 0, right? And then how about 3?
The sum of all of the numbers have to equal something divisible by 3.
Okay, so if you add up the digit, it should be divisible by 3. Can you give me one with 3-digit number? If I started it with 5 and 2. 6? Would that work? I don't know. This is 11. No, not yet. Okay, try it again. Start with 5 and 2. Give me one more number. 5 will work. That's 12, right? 5 plus 2 plus 5 is 12, and 12 is divisible by 3. Is it okay? So it would be something like that on the test. We ask you the rule, and then we may give you something, and you have to explain it. How about 4?
The last two numbers have to be divisible by 4.
So if I started with this and say 1 and 2, don't want to make it too hard for you, then you can put a 4 here because 24 is divisible by 4. Okay, and give me another one. 0 would work. Would that work? Yeah. Yeah, because 20 is 2. Okay, something doesn't click in my brain suddenly. How about 5? 0 and 5 but need to be bigger than 0, okay? And 6 is a popular one. Has to be,
Divisible by both 2 and 3.
meaning it has to be,
It has to be an even number and they have to add up to be divisible by 3.
and then sum of digits divisible by 3, right? Is it okay? So if I have 1 and 5 and something, give me a number that would be divisible by 6. So it has to be even, and then when you add them up, it has to be divisible by 3. Would that work? This is 6 and 6, yes. So first of all, this is even, right? And then 1 plus 5 plus 2 plus 4 is what? 12, and 12 is divisible by 3. Are we okay? So something like this would be on the test. How about, no, we don't remember 7. How about 8?
The last 3 digits.
Last 3 digit divisible by 8 because 1,000 is going into 8 evenly. And then how about 9?
The sum of all digits have to be divisible by 9.
Sum of all digits divisible by 9, just like 3, right? Just a little bit different. So you will have to review that a little bit. Are we okay with the divisibility rule? Okay, let me give you a word problem for Venn diagram. Be on the test. Okay, so use Venn diagram to solve. So we're using Venn diagram to solve. Say we have 30 students in class. And then 15 of them have jobs. 7 of them are married and have jobs. 3 of them don't have jobs and not married. So we want to know how many are married and have no jobs. I know I'm going pretty fast. I want to show you as much as possible, but it would be recorded and you can watch it again if you need to. Okay, so use the Venn diagram to solve. I should start with a Venn diagram, right? What would be the title of it?
Students in class.
Okay, students in class. How many do we have?
30.
30. So it means my universal set should have 30 people total. And what are the major category here?
Married and jobs.
One circle would be married, one circle would be jobs. Do they have overlapping?
Yes.
Yes, so I'm going to put marry first and then job second. Okay, what can I put in the Venn diagram? Say it again.
She said 7 in the middle.
7 where? In the middle, okay, so we require you to write down the step. So the overlapping parts equal to 7 because it's both marry and job. So you can spell it out, I'm just lazy. Marry and job is 7, so 7 go into the middle. What else? Three outside, so second step we're going to say 3 outside of the 2 circle because no job and not married, right? So no job and not married. So you can write them out, but I'm just lazy. So 3 is here. All right, what else?
Can you put 8 on the other side of the jobs?
Okay, why?
All the 15 have jobs.
Okay, 15 have jobs, so which means this whole circle would be 15, right? But I cannot put 15 here because it includes the overlapping part, okay? So I'm going to say for just have job, it's going to be 15 total. Subtract the 7, which is the overlapping part, right? Which will equal to 8. The 8 part is just job, but not married, right? So 8 go here, and then we can cross out my 15. Okay, anything else? I'm just missing this part, so how do I figure that part out? So for the just married part, no job, we will use what?
30 minus
30, subtracting all the other number, right? You can subtract 15 and 3, or you can subtract 7, subtract 8, subtract 3, which will give me 12. So 12 go here. So it's kind of like a puzzle. So it may require a little bit practice, but we should double check, right? 12 plus 7 plus 8 plus 3 should be totally 30. What are they asking?
How many are married, have no jobs?
The answer would be 12. There are 12 students who are married and have no jobs. Not a good situation. Okay? Question for this.